This is Woodman here with another message for the channel. I wanted to talk to you about the birth chart, and it is a way to show where the planets were at the moment that you're born. It also is dependent upon geography in terms of where you are in the world, as well as your birth time. And it's a piece of the puzzle that can kind of give you a lot of information about how your life is supposed to unfold. Understanding this can help you understand maybe why you're an extrovert, while your bestie or your peeps is are far more reserved. They represent areas of our lives, each of these houses, and knowing where each planet is and what can offer insight may make us look at the areas we're poised for success with. And if you keep thinking about how the houses are based on star alignment, then you really can come to understand, as well as planetary, then you can really come to understand that there's much more than just the basic sun signs that we're always taught in zodiac and astrology. You need to look at where the planets appeared when you were born, wherever on Earth you were born. And these houses represent the rotation of the Earth around the axis for over 24 hours. The sun, the moon, and all the planets appear to be moving through the 12 houses clockwise. They are going to rise in the east on the cusp of the first house, or that's known as the ascendant. They're going to hang out around the top of the chart at midday, which is noon, and it's going to set in the west, which is the right hand side of the chart, and then spend some time at the bottom of the chart in the middle of the night. If you think of it, it's almost like your personalized star map, right? But it can be far more than that. You have to take it very seriously when you look at what each house represents. The location of the luminaries and planets, colors, how they express themselves, and how ultimately, as I said, your life is going to express itself. So, how do you find the houses in your birth chart? The chart is divided up in 12 slices, just as the zodiac is divided up in 12 signs. Each of these slices represents a house, and the first house is where your ascendant or rising sign is, where it was on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth, and where it falls on the left hand side of the chart. From the first house, you'll want to follow your chart counterclockwise to note your second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. As you move through the houses, you'll notice that each is ruled by one of the 12 zodiac signs. You'll also glean that your planetary placements, including your sun sign, your moon sign, and your Mercury sign, may reside very well within a particular house. So let's go to the houses now. The first house is the house of self. And this is the house where your ascendant or rising sign is located, and it speaks to how you present yourself in the world. Associated with assertive Mars and the cardinal fire sign of Aries, the first house is the terrain of your personal brand, your identity, how you appear, and what is your self image. If you look to the sign that rules this house in your birth chart, this is going to inform you about your hairstyle, your wardrobe, and how you may make a first impression on others. This is very interesting because it's really going to kind of define your inside and your outside, so to speak, right? Your second house goes into a totally different area now. Now we're not talking about how you are as a person. Now we're talking about what about making money? What about wealth? What about income? So the second house of terrain is money making, material possessions, and self worth, and it's often associated with the fixed earth sign Taurus and the planet Venus, the planet of beauty and values. Consider the sign that rules this house in your chart to understand how you think about and approach earning a living. The third house is the house of communication. The third house is associated with mutable air signs like Gemini, as well as the planet Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and it oversees how you think and express yourself with others when speaking out loud and through written word. It's going to definitely help detail the contours of how you interact with friends and anyone else in your immediate circle, your immediate environment. It's also going to involve um, relationships with siblings as well as short distance travel. The fourth house is considered to be the house of the home, the house of home life. And this speaks to your family life, your inner world, and your domestic sphere. It's associated with the cardinal water sign Cancer and the intuitive moon, right? If you explore any placements and the ruling sign of this house, this will give intel on your side of the relationship with your parents and how you would act when you become a parent. It also informs your home life and what brings you a sense of safety and security in the place you call home. The fifth sign is the house of expression, self expression, as well as romance. So the fifth house is associated with the fixed fire sign Leo and the sun, which oversees romance, self expression, fun, pleasure, creativity, and kids. Look at any placements and which sign rules on this house in your chart for clues of how you'll incorporate playfulness into your life, express your artistic visions, and inevitably your own voice. Your sixth house is your house of daily routine, it's your house of wellness. The sixth house, which is associated with the mutable earth sign Virgo and the information gathering Mercury, is the house of health and your day to day hustle. Planetary placements and the ruling sign here will inform you how you go through your to do list and how you come to care for your health, whether that be emotional, spiritual, physical, or mental in terms of well being. It's also the house of pets. The seventh house deals with partnership. The seventh house associated with cardinal air sign Libra and the planet Venus, which is the planet of relationships, involves one-on-one bonds, romantic, platonic, professional. Any placements in this house, as well as the ruling sign, are going to determine how you approach pairing up because it sits opposite to the first house of self. So lessons from the seventh house can also bolster self-awareness. How do you show up for others, and what does this say about your sense of self? The eighth house. The eighth house is about joint resources, but it's also about intimacy. Associated with the fixed water sign Scorpio, as well as the transformative planet of Pluto, this house is one of the most complex. It oversees sex, death, rebirth, joint resources, transformation, and our most intimate emotional bonds. When you look to this sign in your chart, you're looking as to the placements for how you deal with these heavier but deeply fulfilling aspects of life. Your ninth house is your house of higher learning. It's also your house of adventure. The ninth house, associated with the mutable fire sign Sagittarius and the fortune telling planet of Jupiter, is the house of long distance travel as well as higher education. Placements here, as well as the sign that rules this house, can tell you a lot about your sense of just wanting to go out on adventures. You know, they call that wanderlust. How do you broaden your horizons, and how do you soak up knowledge and approach philosophical conversations? It's also the house of publishing, as well as a religion and even foreign languages. Your 10th house, and this is the career house. It's associated with a cardinal sign, an earth sign, Capricorn, and the taskmaster planet Saturn. The 10th house cusp is referred to as the mid heaven, or MC, which speaks to your professional path, your social standing, as well as your public persona. Similarly, the whole 10th house offers information on how you get after when you're pursuing your greatest ambitions in life. How do you deal with authority figures, and how you may even come to act as an authority figure, and how you feel about taking on serious responsibility, especially in a very public way. The 11th house is the house of long term wishes, but it also is about networking. So the 11th house, associated with the fixed air sign Aquarius and the rebellious planet Uranus, it's all about friends and colleagues, although not in a one-on-one capacity, because that's already covered in the 7th house, or how you connect to people, which is already covered in the 3rd house. Instead, the 11th house is going to inform how you are in terms of being in teams. There's no I in team, right? You know, groups and networks that you associate with. You know, how can you make this work for you? It can also indicate the greater audiences that you may appeal to. You can also express your humanity and your ultimate sense of community. Your 12th house, which is your final house, is your house of spirituality and the unconscious. It is associated with the mutable water sign Pisces and the illusion loving planet Neptune. It oversees karma, what's lying beneath the surface of your life as a whole, your unconscious mind, the things that we cannot see, our dreams, and our path of spiritual growth. You can get a deep sense of your shadow self and your relationship with spirituality by exploring the sign that rules this house in your chart, as well as any placements that might reside there. I know for me, knowing that my ultimate goal in life is to capture the essence of being a Pisces, it is just like this 12th house, which is, it means that I had to come to the realization that, religion aside, that there are always going to be things in my life which are very mysterious, very not easy to see. This is where mysticism comes into play. This is where spirituality comes into play. Therefore, for me to try to act very Virgo-like, right? Because Virgos are all about the known. They're all about scientific approaches, methodical approaches, everything being mapped out. What you see is what you get. That can be problematic if that's what you keep pursuing. Like, for example, let's say you have a north node in Pisces, and therefore your south node is going to be in Virgo. If you keep on clinging to the idea that everything must be proven through the scientific method, evidence-based approach. Everything is either black or white. That there's nothing hidden. There's nothing that we don't know. Whatever we know, we know. And all this stuff about, well, maybe it was magic. Oh, maybe it was the ghosts. Maybe it was the spirits. That's exactly the opposite of what a Virgo is going to be talking about, because a Virgo is going to be thinking about things in a very grounded sense, right? It's an earth sign, and so we know that the earth signs a lot of times have to do with things that are material, things that we can put down into terms of, okay, if I have 20 gold coins and I have 20 coins made out of gold, which have a certain degree of value for people, as opposed to something that is more ephemeral or something that we can't see, something that is very hard to define and can almost be like a wild card, something that we have to just kind of have faith in, something that we have to just step out on a limb on, and we come to realize that that is not necessarily what a lot of people like, but it is a necessary part of this life we live in, this matrix-like reality we live in. We don't hold all the cards. We don't know all the things. So, while it's great and all to be very meticulous, to be very everything being concrete, if you have that Pisces North Node, then you're going to have to recognize that your life is going to have a lot of mysterious things going on, and you're going to have to just trust and believe that you're on the right path. So that's it for the talk today about the 12 houses. I hope you found this information helpful. If you're new here, welcome aboard. Welcome to the family. It's a safe space here. If you're returning, thank you so much. You make this channel great. I appreciate your support and love you so much. On that note, please like, share, and subscribe. And I pray to you in the name of the Most High God that you have all the blessings and the wonderful things that come into your life, the health, the wealth, prosperity, and abundance, and that you are highly protected in all matters. Woodman signing off. I love you. Have a great day. Take care.